Hey guys, so I woke up and I was really thinking, really frustrated about what our potential could be in sales. Um, so there's a few fundamental things that we're just missing out on. We're not going into the client's mind, thinking about what they want, what they need, what their resolutions is. They're confused. Your job is to get them to a point of clarity. How do you get them to a point of clarity? It's got to do something. It's got to be to do with how they think about the world, how they make decisions, what they want. Does this product that we're trying to sell them solve their issue? And they need to come to a point where they can't, they're already so confused they can't even figure it out themselves. So your job is to take them through the processes in their own brain and find a solution. So everybody in our staff, even the sales plumbers out there, other companies that call me and try to sell me products, I just test them. I just want to see what they're all about, and figure out, can I learn from them? So I'll even though I don't want to buy their product, I'll just be like, okay, cool. How does this help me? What's it got to do with me? And they can't answer that question. And our staff, especially our main staff that we really need to do well, which is our sales plumbers, which is our sales subbies, which is our operations staff, are not doing this. They're not really going into the so they don't ask the questions like, so what's your concern here? You've booked this in, but what are you not sure about? And the client might say, well, I'm not sure about what if I don't like the quote, or what if the quote is too expensive? Then you have to clarify it, and you have to say, well, if you don't like the quote, then you can always come back to me and I will either find you a different plumber, get you a different quote, rewrite the quote with the plumber, or we will refund your call out fee. So that helps, Same with the sales plumbers out there. It's all, when I talk to the clients, it's all surface. It's like, here's a quote, mate, do you like it? Yeah, it's all good. They'll give them a follow-up call back, but there's no depth in it. There's no depth. Like, what are you not sure about? Does this not meet your budget? Options? What's going on in there? Do you have different priorities right now in your life? Have you got other things going on? So, I don't have my whiteboard here because we just moved in. I left it back at the office, but I'll try to use this anyway. Let's make sure this is working. Yep, it's all good. So, I've spoken about these things before, but one thing I've learned is just saying it once doesn't work, so you've got to repeat yourself, but you also got to say it in different ways. So different people, it's the same idea, but it's picking up on different ways. Again, these are just my ideas. None of this is absolute truth. None of this is going to be like guaranteed that this is going to work. It's just based on our current lives that I'm like, okay, we're here right now. We're not entirely happy with where we are. How do we get to a different place? So we're trying to figure life out. We're trying to engineer life right now. We're trying to find ideas, concepts and stuff. And end of the day, there's no way of saying this is true, this is better. It's all contextual. It's all based on circumstances, based on, this particular situation that you're in as well. So, but I also find that when we do have an idea, people find it hard to transfer ideas from one situation to the other. So if I'm like, well, if you're at work and this is how you sell at work, well, this is the same way you can sell to your kids. If you don't want your kids to do a certain behavior or something, the same concept you learned at work on your kids, and the same thing that will work with your family members. So it's also a good balancing factor. If you're being a good, wholesome, well put together person at work and really being productive and putting your best out there and being really having the best interest of the client at heart, you can take those concepts and apply it to your kids. But if you're being a little bit manipulative, you're lying to the clients, you're not being completely truthful, and you wouldn't use those same tactics with your kids, because your kids are, they're part of you. You see them as part of yourself. So you want to take some of those concepts that you have with the kids and apply it back to work. So if you're with a client, sometimes you have to treat them like kids. You have to sort of think, okay, how would I in this situation treat my kid? And first of all, when you're with your kid, what are the fundamental things that you do with your kid? Which is you would start to, you sort of vibe with them, you know, you get, first of all, you sort of emote with them, you sort of feel their emotions and go, okay, and then sort of get down to their level. You sort of go eye to eye, down to their level, you know. And then the next thing you do is you try to sympathize with their perspective. And the next thing you go, okay, what's in their best interest, you know? And then you sort of have to also consider yourself as well. How much time and effort and energy and, you know, patience do you have left as well today, you know? So you have to consider all things in this interaction with the kid. It's the same thing with a client. You know, you've got to sort of get down to the level. You've got to emote with their emotions. You've got to go through and what's in their best interest. But at the end of the day, you also have to consider yourself as well. What's in your best interest? You can't just be considering, like, if that client, you're going to go there and give them your best and they don't have the